Planning that first trip to Universal Orlando is an exciting venture. It feels like there's never been a better time to set your sights on this magical destination as we enter an era of unprecedented expansion. But with so many details to juggle and potential for money to be wasted, you may need a helping hand to ensure the best possible trip. Hi, I'm the Frugal Brit, and in this video we'll be navigating through all the essentials of Universal Orlando Resort for 2024, covering all 4 parks, tickets, express passes, dining, transportation, etc., including an overview of the upcoming Epic Universe theme park opening in 2025. Without further ado, let's dive in. So what is Universal Orlando Resort? It's not the name of a theme park, but instead the name of a sprawling entertainment complex located in Orlando, Florida, most famous for its 2 theme parks, which are Universal Studios Florida and Universal Islands of Adventure, located next door to each other, which is super convenient and connected by the CityWalk Entertainment District. To fully understand Universal Orlando, it helps to know a bit of its history. So heading all the way back to the 80s, its inception was inspired by the success of the Universal Studios Hollywood Tram Tour, which offered guests an immersive experience into the filmmaking world. This vision led to the idea of a theme park dedicated to these tram tour experiences, with Universal Studios Florida opening in 1990, which captivated visitors with attractions like Jaws, E.T. Adventure, and the original King Kong ride, blending behind-the-scenes insights with blockbuster entertainment. The park's success in the 90s spurred further expansion, with Islands of Adventure opening in 1999, heralded for its cutting-edge attractions and meticulously themed areas. Additionally, 1999 also saw the opening of CityWalk, completing the core of what we now know as Universal Orlando Resort. A pivotal moment in Universal history was the 2010 introduction of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Hogsmeade at Islands of Adventure, which set new standards for theme park experiences. The success of Hogsmeade led to the 2014 opening of Diagon Alley in Universal Studios Florida, further immersing guests in the Harry Potter universe. Then 2017 saw the opening of the Volcano Bay Water Park, designed around a colossal man-made volcano. So what do the parks look like today? In this part of the video, I'll provide a brief 2024 overview of each park and CityWalk, but if you want a more detailed guide of all the rides, lands and attractions, you can check out these videos I recently made, which I'll link to in the video description. So as mentioned, both theme parks are located next door to each other. Something that often confuses newbies is that both parks have their own Wizarding World of Harry Potter sections. In Islands of Adventure, that's Hogsmeade, and in Universal Studios Florida, it's the London Diagon Alley land. Both lands are connected via the Hogwarts Express train, a fun way to travel between the parks. But the main entrance to both parks is via CityWalk, which is Universal Orlando's shopping, dining and nightlife district. Those travelling to Islands of Adventure will head up this western bridge, and those headed to Universal Studios Florida will enter via the eastern bridge, past the spinning globe and the famous archway entrance. Universal Studios Florida has seen the most changes since its opening. Its original concept was to take visitors behind the scenes to Hollywood experiences, but the park has evolved to place greater emphasis on immersive experiences based on popular films and characters, partly in response to the success of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. The most popular attractions include the Revenge of the Mummy indoor roller coaster in the New York land. In Diagon Alley, you'll find the Escape from Gringotts hybrid coaster located inside Gringotts Bank. A short walk from the entrance is the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster with its eye-catching lift hill and its famous non-inverting loop. New for 2024 is Minion Land, which has taken over most of the old Production Central backlot, a colourful addition focused on the beloved yellow minions, containing the all-new Illuminations Villain Con Minion Blast, an interactive game-based attraction where guests use blasters to navigate through Villain Con. Gone is the Woody Woodpecker's Kids Zone Land. I'll be covering its replacement later in the video, which is being built at the time of making this video. Fortunately, the E.T. ride is still open to guests. Entering the realm of Islands of Adventure next door, you'll discover Universal's flagship theme park, boasting stunning theming with an incredible lineup of top-tier attractions. Compared to Universal Studios' focus on the movie industry, Islands of Adventure focuses more on the exploration of its themed lands, or islands as they're called here. Most famous these days for its Wizarding World of Hogsmeade land, which in 2019 introduced the Hagrid's Magical Creatures motorbike adventure ride, a super headliner for the park. You'll also find the Jurassic Park Island, which features the other main headliner, Jurassic Park Velocicoaster, which opened in 2021 and known for its breathtaking launches and its daring top hat element and its Mosasaurus roll. Other islands include a pre-Disney Marvel land and the whimsically designed Seuss Landing. Despite big investments in attractions like Hagrid's and Velocicoaster, Islands of Adventure has seen a lull in additions in recent years, but fans remain captivated by the quality of these headliner rides. If we head over to the west of the map, past several of Universal's on-site hotels, you'll find the Volcano Bay Water Park, often regarded as Central Florida's best. Getting to Volcano Bay is a bit unusual in that you can only travel to it via CityWalk unless you're staying at one of the hotels. The park's attractions are split between 4 different villages, with several slides weaving through the Krakatoa volcano. The most popular attractions include the Waturi Beach Wave Pool, the Tiawa the Fearless River, several adrenaline-pumping trapdoor slides, and 4 family raft slides. The park's headliner is the Krakatoa Aqua Coaster, which combines a water slide with roller coaster thrills. The Tapu Tapu wristbands at the park aim to make your visit smoother by holding your place in line virtually, whilst you can enjoy your time in one of the pools or one of the 2 rivers. So how does Universal Orlando compare to the obvious alternative in Central Florida, that being Walt Disney World? Obvious similarities, both being giant theme park resort complexes, but Walt Disney World is actually substantially larger than Universal, with huge amounts of space between its theme parks. Universal's smaller size makes it much easier to navigate and hop between the parks. Walt Disney World has been the traditional favourite for families, but Universal is gaining ground in several areas, which was kick-started with the Wizarding World expansion. Disney tends to target a broader age range, including younger children, whilst Universal skews towards an older, more thrill-seeking demographic. Disney is renowned for its rich legacy of classic stories and beloved characters, which fill the parks with a sense of nostalgia and timelessness. In contrast, Universal has a more contemporary vibe, with attractions primarily inspired by popular movies and TV shows. While Disney embraces its heritage, Universal is known for its willingness to refresh its attractions with new experiences. Competition remains fierce, driving each to continuously elevate their offerings. With the announcement of Epic Universe opening next year, there is a feeling that Universal is catching, but in reality it's unlikely Universal will ever fully dethrone the House of Mouse, but it is certainly going to cause a few headaches in the boardroom. In this section, we'll delve into some essential park logistics to familiarise yourself with prior to your visit. Starting with the mobile app, downloading this prior to your visit is highly recommended, which can enhance your visit in numerous ways. Firstly, it integrates your tickets and annual passes, making the issue of losing tickets less of a worry. It allows you to check wait times for attractions in real time, helping you plan your day more efficiently. Additionally, its map navigation feature guides you through the park with ease, ensuring you can find rides, shows, dining options and restrooms without any hassle. Another key aspect of your visit is the lockers. Unlike Disney, which tries to avoid the use of lockers, Universal employs a locker system for many of its thrill rides. On these, you'll be required to drop everything off in the lockers before entering the attraction queue. And on Velocicoaster, Hulk and Rip Ride Rocket, you'll have to pass through a metal detector to ensure there's no loose belongings. These lockers are free to use, and you can scan your park ticket to activate it, but keep in mind that these are a bit on the small side, so best to pack as lightly as possible, or you might find yourself forced to pay for the larger lockers for $3. If you can get away with just taking a fanny pack, you'll save yourself a lot of hassle on these rides, but not always practical. The last thing I wanted to mention in here is the single rider line, available on select attractions, allowing individual riders to fill empty seats, more often than not resulting in significantly reduced wait times. As mentioned earlier, to travel over to the parks you have to go through CityWalk, which contains 2 giant parking facilities. Upon entering via Universal Boulevard, you'll be directed through a toll booth to pay for parking. These are the current rates at the time of making this video, but worth mentioning that it's free after 6 PM, except during special events like Halloween Horror Nights. Once through the toll, keep an eye out for the signs to Volcano Bay if you're headed to that park. The parking facilities are divided into sections named after Universal characters, helping you remember where you parked. I recommend taking a picture of your location, as it's very tricky to find at the end of the day. After going through security, you'll encounter the covered moving walkway, offering a moment to take in the surrounding architecture. You'll eventually come to the entrance bridge, which frames your Universal Orlando adventures. This takes you into the heart of CityWalk, which doesn't require any ticket, similar to Disney Springs, and offers a mix of shopping, entertainment and nightlife. There's also the restaurants, which I'll be covering in the next section. In terms of shopping, I think it's fair to say it's pretty light on options when compared to Disney Springs. The popular Universal Legacy store was very recently closed, expected to make way for a preview centre for Epic Universe, but we still have the large Universal Studios store, which offers a vast selection of clothing, accessories and collectibles. CityWalk is also a prime destination for entertainment. The Hollywood Drive-In Golf offers a unique mini-golf experience with 2 creatively themed courses based on 50 sci-fi and horror movies. A more recent addition is the Universal's Great Movie Escape, featuring escape rooms themed around Back to the Future and Jurassic World. I should mention that this is an upcharged experience. For those looking to relax with a movie, you have the Universal Cinemark Movie Theatre. For nightlife entertainment, there's a range of clubs and bars on offer. CityWalk's Rising Star offers a live karaoke experience with a band and backup singers. For a taste of New Orleans, Pat O'Brien's entertains with its famous dueling pianos and its signature hurricane cocktail. Bob Marley, a tribute to freedom, immerses guests in a Jamaican-inspired atmosphere with live reggae music. CityWalk also hosts the Red Coconut Club, a stylish nightclub and lounge where guests can enjoy live music and signature cocktails. Universal is often praised for its immersive theming and exhilarating attractions, often surpassing Walt Disney World. However, I think it's fair to say dining is an area where it does not compare quite as favourably. Despite this though, there are some good options across the parks, CityWalk and the hotels. Each of the 2 theme parks have 2 table service restaurants each. In Universal Studios Florida, you have the Finnegan's Bar and Grill in the New York backlot, serving hearty comfort food and live music in a warmly decorated, authentic Irish pub setting. In San Francisco, there's the Lombard Seafood Grill, offering a variety of seafood dishes in a nautical-themed atmosphere. I'd say this is the better pick in this park if you want a less crowded and more relaxed dining experience, but Finnegan's is the preferred choice for most Universal fans. Over in Islands of Adventure, there's Confisco Grill near the park entrance and port of entry, which offers a diverse menu of global cuisine, known for its eclectic decor, featuring confiscated items from the park's different lands. And in the Lost Continent, there's the award-winning Mythos restaurant, set within a cavernous, mythologically themed environment, serving a mix of Mediterranean, Asian and American cuisine. The outdoor seating here offers a serene view of the lagoon. For the best selection of table service restaurants though, I recommend heading over to CityWalk. Its more popular options include Big Fire, Cowfish, Vivo Italian Kitchen and Toothsome Chocolate Emporium. If you're looking for a more detailed overview of these restaurants, I recommend checking out my top 15 restaurants guide video, which I'll link to in the description. One thing I do really appreciate with Universal compared to Disney World is how much easier it is to get a table, involving a lot less hassle, with many restaurants accommodating walk-ins with minimal wait times. For peak times though, I would recommend making reservations a couple weeks in advance for the popular restaurants. To make a reservation, simply use the official Universal Orlando app or website, where you can check availability and book directly. When it comes to quick service options, there's too many to mention really for a first-timer's guide, but there are 3 that I wanted to cover. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter offers 2 enchanting experiences in both parks. Islands of Adventure has the 3 Broomsticks restaurant, with its menu combining British and American fare in a rustic tavern setting. Then over in Universal Studios Florida, you have the fabled Leaky Cauldron restaurant, serving up similar hearty pub food. The food here is slightly more authentic, but the theming is less impressive. Butterbeer, the Wizarding World's iconic beverage, is served in both locations and many more, and comes in a few different varieties. There's the classic cold butterbeer, a sweet and refreshing non-alcoholic drink. Imagine a butterscotch flavoured cream soda. You also have the frozen butterbeer, which is the same recipe but with a frozen smoothie-like consistency. Then thirdly, there's the hot butterbeer, which is sort of a butterscotch version of a hot chocolate, more popular during the cooler months obviously. The other non-Wizarding World restaurant I wanted to cover is the all-new Minion Cafe restaurant, which replaced the Monsters Cafe in the newly established Minion Land, which offers a playful dining experience immersed in the world of Minions, with a menu of eclectic dishes inspired by the characters and themes from the Despicable Me franchise, and has quickly become a fan favourite. Worth mentioning, Universal does have a mobile ordering system, which allows guests to order food from select restaurants via the Universal Orlando app. Can be a real time saver, especially during peak lunch and dinner times. Before we move on, I need to mention the Coke Freestyle machines. To use these, you'll need to purchase a special Freestyle cup available in numerous locations within the parks, including some merchandise shops, quick service restaurants and kiosks. I've become a big fan of these over the years, something I really miss when I'm at the Disney parks. Obviously super important to stay hydrated in Florida. Even when you're not purchasing a cup activation, they're a quick way to get free ice water on the go without having to queue at a restaurant or kiosk. Additionally, guests can also purchase a souvenir popcorn bucket and enjoy discounted refills throughout the duration of their visit. When buying tickets for Universal Orlando, there's 4 main things you need to decide on. So there's what time of year you want to visit, how many days you want, whether you want to visit Volcano Bay, and whether you want the option to visit more than one park in one day. This is called the park-to-park add-on, Universal's term for park hopping. In terms of deciding what time of year, Universal is incredible all year round, but you may want to consider this crowd calendar for the busiest times of the year to visit. Visiting during the quieter times of the year will mean shorter queues around the parks, and Universal uses a demand-based ticket model, so tickets are cheaper. You're also more likely to come across offers and discounts for hotels, etc. during these times. The downsides to visiting during these quieter times are that the parks will close much earlier, and attractions are far more likely to be closed for maintenance. With the colder weather in the winter, Volcano Bay will be closed when the temperature drops below a certain level, and that will often also apply to the water rides at Islands of Adventure. Overall, I'd say Universal doesn't quite have the same buzz in the winter months outside of Christmas, so something to think about. But the good news here is that there's upsides no matter which time of year you choose. So going back to the 4 things you need to consider when buying tickets, the second one was how many days. If you've been before, you probably don't need to ask that question, so I'll answer just for first timers. With an ultra efficient itinerary, you probably could get everything done in all 3 parks in 3 days, but I wouldn't recommend attempting that as it'll be pretty exhausting. With that in mind, I recommend 1 day per park with an extra day to finish everything or repeat your favourite attractions. So that'd be 4 days when including Volcano Bay and 3 days without. But the longer the better, obviously. I'd put the sweet spot between 4 and 5 days, and as you'd expect, the price per day decreases the more days you purchase. The remaining 2 things to consider are whether you want to visit Volcano Bay and whether you want the freedom to visit multiple parks in 1 day. Both these options require an extra fee, so obviously have a think about whether you're going to have the time to visit Volcano Bay. When it comes to theme park vacation planning, we all have a tendency to overcommit time-wise, so worth considering this carefully. But as far as the park-to-park add-on goes, I highly recommend this for first-timers, as you won't be able to ride on the Hogwarts Express without it, as it takes you between the 2 parks. Universal also offers a variety of annual pass options, which I'll link to in the video description. But I will say, here's the difference between a 5-day ticket with Volcano Bay and Park to Park compared to an annual pass with Volcano Bay, so worth considering whether you'll be back again, because it could mean a substantial saving. If you're wondering where to buy tickets from, many prefer the security and simplicity of purchasing directly from Universal. You can save money by using third-party vendors. I don't have great experience of these in the US, but I do know that the likes of Undercover Tourist, Best of Orlando, and Park Savers have good reputations. For guests in the UK and Ireland, the most popular ticket to purchase is the 14-day ticket, which is exclusive to the European third-party ticket sellers. This comes with Volcano Bay and Park-to-Park access included. The 2 market leaders for these tickets are Florida Tix and Attraction Tickets. There's also the lesser known but often cheaper OrlandoAttractions.com. Those travelling to Universal with a hefty budget may be looking for an opportunity to maximise their visit, which can be done by purchasing one of Universal's Express Passes. So what is an Express Pass? They come in 4 different varieties. There's the standard Universal Express Pass, which grants you one-time skip-the-line access for pretty much every worthwhile attraction except for Hagrid's, but does now work on Velocicoaster. To save even more time, you have the Express Pass Unlimited, which offers all the same benefits of the previous, but with unlimited access. You'll get these given to you for free if you're willing to pay the premium at one of Universal Orlando's premier hotels. I should mention that these passes work for both theme parks, but if you want to skip the lines at Volcano Bay, then you'll need to buy a separate Volcano Bay Express Pass. If you're wondering whether you need these passes, personally I don't think they represent good value in most situations, but obviously depends on how big your budget is. Personally, my budget is never big enough to justify Express Passes for a family of 4, and it doesn't work on the one ride where I'd really feel the benefit. I much prefer to beat the lines with a smart itinerary. The 4th one is the Halloween Horror Nights Express Pass, which I'll be covering in more detail later in the video. One other thing to consider when deciding on what time of year to visit is the seasonal event. Between February and April, Universal hosts the Mardi Gras Festival, a family-friendly version featuring parades with elaborate floats, street performers, colourful costumes and beads, including live concerts from the big-name artists and authentic Cajun cuisine. But the big one is the famous Halloween Horror Nights held between September and November at Universal Studios, a premier event for horror enthusiasts, which transforms the park into a nightmarish landscape filled with haunted houses, scare zones, and live entertainment based on popular horror films, TV shows, and original stories. There's also a selection of popular rides that remain open. Important to note that Halloween Horror Nights is a separately ticketed event, meaning it's not included with regular park admission. The park will close early on those days, but guests with a ticket will be allowed to remain inside. Worth warning that wait times for the different houses can be very lengthy. As mentioned, you do have the option of purchasing a Halloween Horror Nights Express Pass, which will only work during that event. Given that I tend to spend more time waiting in line at HHN, I found that this Express Pass is easier to justify, but does obviously depend on your circumstances. During the holidays, Universal Orlando transforms into a festive holiday destination with celebrations across both parks. Highlights include the Universal Holiday Parade featuring Macy's, and Christmas in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, including a special projection show, and Grinchmas bringing a magical atmosphere to Seuss Landing. Lastly, there's the Orlando Informer Meetup, which provides exclusive after-hours access to the parks with low crowds, minimal wait, unlimited food, and special entertainment. In this section, I'll provide an introduction to all Universal Orlando's hotel resorts. In a recent video, I did provide a more detailed guide to these, so you may want to check that out. Or if you've already watched that recently, I'd suggest skipping to the next chapter, as I'll be doing a more condensed version of that guide. So Universal Orlando has 8 hotels located throughout the Universal complex. These all fall within either the value, prime value, preferred, or premier categories. These are all located within walking distance of the parks, except for the first 2 hotels I'll be covering. These are the Endless Summer Resorts, which are the Endless Summer Dockside Inn and the Endless Summer Surfside Inn. Both these hotels are the perfect choice for budget-conscious families looking to benefit from the on-site perks at the lowest price. They feature 2-bedroom suites, allowing guests to save money by preparing meals in the kitchenette area. Both these hotels are relatively new, so they're in good condition. Whilst they're not within comfortable walking distance of the parks, they have very regular buses taking you over to CityWalk, which for many justifies the extra cost, as opposed to paying for the cheaper nearby off-site hotels. But the main downside to the Endless Summer hotels, other than location, is that the walls are very thin. Guests staying at these resorts, as well as all the other hotels, benefit from early park admission, which allows all on-site guests to enter the park's Wizarding World lands an hour before the general public. You may also be able to ride the other attractions, including Velocicoaster and Despicable Me Minion Mayhem during this time. Do note though that early park admission only operates one park at a time, except for very rare occasions. For Volcano Bay, you get half an hour before the general public, not the full hour. Next, we have the Cabana Bay Beach Resort with its retro 50s and 60s theme, boasting incredible amenities, including a bowling alley and 2 massive pools, one containing a water slide and the other containing a lazy river. It's located next door to Volcano Bay, so perfect for those who want to take advantage of early park admission. Because of its family suite, it's another family favourite. Reasons not to pick Cabana Bay are that it's quite a spread out hotel with some rooms externally accessed, which is not to everyone's liking. Also, prices have gone up quite a bit in recent years, making it less appealing. One of the big perks though for Cabana Bay and all remaining hotels is that it's on the Universal Garden Walk, which means you can walk over to the parks in around 20 to 30 minutes depending on which building your room is in. This is one of the main advantages of staying at Universal compared to Disney World, where hotels within walking distance of the parks cost a small fortune. The other prime value hotel is Aventura, the smallest on property, which stands out with its sleek design and stunning rooftop views, a haven for adults and couples seeking a stylish retreat with its easy park access at a very reasonable price. It's where you'll find the popular Bar 17 Bistro, which boasts stunning views of the surrounding areas. The downsides to Aventura are that its pool area is the weakest at Universal, and its theming is probably the least appealing to theme park vacationers. For those looking to book a trip in 2025 and beyond, you may want to consider the Stella Nova and the Terra Luna resorts, both themed after the mysteries of the universe, opening January 2025, and will complement Universal's newest park, Epic Universe. Next, we have Lowe's Sapphire Falls Resort on its own in the preferred category, themed to the Caribbean islands and set amidst lush tropics. A notable upgrade in dining options, and the pool area is stunning and features an impressive water slide. When you're there, it feels like it deserves to be in Universal's premier resort category. You also benefit from the water taxi dock, which takes you directly to CityWalk near the entrance to Universal Studios. It's also a much shorter walk to the parks, as with Aventura. The downside to picking Sapphire Falls is that it doesn't feature unlimited express passes, so for many, it makes sense paying the extra to get those. One of 3 hotels that does offer these is the Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort in the Premier Resort category. Themed to the South Seas era of island hopping adventurers, contains multiple bars and restaurants and a beautifully landscaped pool area, which contains an interactive water play area for children. It's the closest hotel to Islands of Adventure, so when combined with the water taxi, which takes you right outside Universal Studios, it arguably has the best location. The downside to Royal Pacific is that it doesn't feel quite as luxurious as the other two premier resorts, some saying less so than even Sapphire Falls. It lacks a water slide, and the rooms are a bit on the small side. A big plus though is that it's the cheapest hotel that offers unlimited express passes and has the most beautiful landscaping. Moving on to the opposite side of CityWalk, we have the Hard Rock Hotel Orlando, boasting a prime position as the closest resort to CityWalk and the gate to Universal Studios Florida. Those that have frequented a Hard Rock restaurant will be familiar with the theming and decor, with authentic music, memorabilia and art spread throughout the hotel, and an energetic atmosphere which isn't matched anywhere else at Universal. Decent dining options as well. The pool area is stunning and features a 260-foot water slide. The garden walk over to Universal Studios is super quick, and you also have the water taxi, although less relevant to this hotel given the shorter walking distance. The downside to picking Hard Rock Hotel is that it can be pricey, and if you're seeking a more quiet and relaxed hotel, it's probably not the best pick. For the final resort, we'll head over to the far east of the map for the Loews Portofino Bay Resort, Universal's flagship hotel, inspired by the charm of the seaside village of Portofino, Italy. Central to its appeal is the harbour piazza, picturesque waterfront promenade that invites guests to relax and enjoy the ambience of an Italian seaside village. It contains the best lineup of restaurants, including Mamadella's Ristorante for family-style Italian dishes, or the fine dining Bice Ristorante. There's also 3 different pool areas, so certainly not lacking as far as amenities go. The rooms are also the most spacious. The downsides to Portofino Bay are that it is located quite a bit further away from the parks compared to the Hard Rock, and it's also Universal's priciest hotel. Universal Orlando Resort is on the brink of very significant transformations. In the short term, Universal Studios Florida is enhancing its attraction lineup with a new DreamWorks animation land set to open in 2024. This area will spotlight characters from beloved franchises like Shrek, Trolls and Kung Fu Panda, offering interactive play spaces and a Trolls-themed roller coaster. Universal Orlando's Cinematic Celebration, a beloved nighttime spectacle, officially ended its run last year, with rumours suggesting its replacement will feature innovative drone technology. Islands of Adventure isn't fully left behind, with speculation about the future transformation of the Lost Continent into a Hyrule-themed area from Nintendo's Zelda series, hinting at broader collaboration with Nintendo beyond Super Nintendo World, which we'll be covering shortly. The centrepiece of Universal Orlando's future is undoubtedly Epic Universe, a third theme park set to open by summer 2025 and poised to be the largest Universal park in the US, located approximately 15 minutes from Universal's current North complex. This incredibly ambitious project will feature 4 themed lands. The heart of Epic Universe will be Celestial Park, inspired by astrology and mythology, serving as the park's central hub, but also containing several attractions including Starfall races and Constellation Carousel. The new Wizarding World of Harry Potter Land will transport guests to Paris and London, featuring attractions like Harry Potter and the Battle for the Ministry of Magic. Super Nintendo World promises to bring the vibrant, interactive realms of Nintendo to life. The Isle of Berk is set to bring adventures alongside Vikings and dragons, themed to the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. Lastly, the area that Universal fans seem to be most excited for is Dark Universe, which will honour Universal's classic monsters in a land filled with gothic horror and thrill rides. So that wraps up my hopefully comprehensive guide to planning your first trip in 2024. Thanks for watching. If you're keen to explore more about Universal Orlando, don't miss my restaurant and hotel guide videos. And for more insights into Orlando's theme parks, don't forget to subscribe.